The 1993 murder of Andrew Rue. A cold case revisited. A quiet corner interrupted. It's just after 5 p.m. on February 18, 1993, in a sleepy pocket of North York, Toronto. The chill of a winter evening settles over Jane Street and Sheppard Avenue, where a tiny convenience store sits tucked away at 11 Arleta Avenue. Unseen, unremarkable, a speck in the neighborhood's fabric. For Suk-Yu Andrew Rue, a 56-year-old immigrant who poured his life into this modest shop, it's the end of another long day. As the clock ticks toward closing, two teenage boys step through the door, their intentions cloaked in shadow. In a heartbeat, a robbery spirals into chaos. A gunshot pierces the silence, and Rue's life slips away. The boys? They vanish onto a westbound bus, leaving behind a crime scene that's haunted Toronto for over 3 decades. A man, a family, a mystery. Andrew Rue wasn't just a shopkeeper. He was a husband, father of 3, South Korean immigrant who crossed oceans in 1972 to chase a dream. For nearly 20 years he built that dream, brick by brick, running his store 7 days a week, a quiet pillar of the community. But that night, his dedication became his undoing. What went wrong in those frantic moments? Did he fight back? Did he see the end coming? The answers are lost to time, buried with the clues that could name his killers. A cold case rekindled. In this episode of Ontario Cold Cases, Canada's True Crime Podcast, we revisit the tragic murder of Andrew Rue, a senseless act that shattered a family and stumped investigators. For 32 years, the trail has been ice cold. The suspects? 2 local teens, slipping through the cracks of a pre-DNA world. But now, with cutting-edge technology and a fresh push from Toronto police, the past is whispering new possibilities. Could a forgotten detail, a faded memory, finally amass the truth? Your role in the story. Stay with us as we unravel the heartbreak, the dead ends, and the hope that lingers in North York's quiet corners. Because this isn't just a story, it's a call. Somewhere out there, someone knows something. Could it be you? Join us as we dig into the shadows of 1993. Because for Andrew Rue, for his family, and for justice, the clock is still ticking. Hello, I'm Jay Nichol, Nichol Investigations. This is Ontario Cold Cases, Canada's True Crime Podcast. Ontario Cold Cases is a gripping true crime podcast that shines a light on unsolved murders, disappearances, and forgotten crimes from across the province and the world. With meticulous research, compelling storytelling, and a commitment to historical accuracy, we bring you the real stories of victims, investigators, and suspects. Stories that demand to be heard. Each week we take you deep into the world of true crime with a packed schedule of episodes. Tuesdays, historical true crime cases, exploring infamous and obscure crimes from history. Wednesdays, the Mick and Mac Mysteries, a thrilling fictional detective series set in 1950s Toronto. Thursdays, World Cold Case Thursday, investigating unsolved cases from around the globe. Sundays, Ontario Cold Cases, the latest episode uncovering an unsolved mystery from Ontario. From high-profile crimes that shock the nation to little-known cases waiting for justice, we uncover the truth, one case at a time. Join us as we explore the dark corners of history and mystery, where every clue could lead to answers and every case deserves a second look. Subscribe now wherever you listen to your favorite podcasts and never miss an episode of Ontario Cold Cases, Canada's True Crime Podcast. A quiet corner of North York. It's the evening of February 18, 1993, just after 5 p.m. in North York, Toronto. The day is winding down a quiet residential neighborhood near Jane Street and Sheppard Avenue. Tucked away at 11 Arleta Avenue sits a small convenience store, far from the busy main street, almost hidden from view. The secluded spot isn't the kind of place that grabs attention. It's a modest storefront, the type you might pass by without a second glance. But for Suk Yu Andrew Rue, the 56-year-old owner, the store was his livelihood. For nearly a decade he'd run the place, opening its doors every day from 9 a.m. to 9 p.m., 7 days a week. That evening, however, this unassuming location would become the setting for a tragedy that still echoes through time. Andrew Rue, a life built on hard work. Andrew Rue wasn't just a store owner. He was a family man with a story. Originally from South Korea, he immigrated to Canada in 1972 with his wife Sun Hai and their 3 children, chasing the promise of a better life. By 1993, he'd been in the convenience store business for years, having previously owned another shop near DuPont Street and Spadina Road before settling into the Arleta Avenue location. At 56, Ryu was a fixture in the community, known for his dedication. He'd occasionally lock up the store briefly to drive Sun-hee home, a small gesture that showed his care for his family. But that same routine might have made him vulnerable, a detail that could have caught the wrong kind of attention. The incident, a robbery gone wrong. At approximately 5:28 p.m. on that fateful evening, 2 teenage boys, estimated to be between 15 and 17 years old, stepped into Ryu's store. Their plan was simple: rob the place and get out. This wasn't their first rodeo, at least not for the store itself. The location had been hit twice before, robbed in incidents that left it marked as a potential target. Maybe these kids knew that history. Maybe they saw the store's tucked away spot and thought it'd be an easy score. Whatever their reasoning, things didn't go as planned. What happened next is murky. Did Ryu confront them? Did he try to protect his store, his life's work? Was there a struggle over a gun? We don't have the footage or the eyewitness accounts to say for sure. But what we do know is this: in the chaos, a shot rang out. Ryu was hit. The teenagers, rattled and empty-handed, didn't stick around to finish the job. They bolted from the store, leaving Ryu wounded and their robbery a failure. Witnesses last saw them scrambling onto a TTC bus, heading west on Sheppard Avenue, vanishing into the growing darkness. Up next, the response, a race against time. The response, a race against time. Minutes later, at 5:28 p.m., a 911 call lit up the switchboard. Police rushed to 11 Arleta Avenue and found Andrew Rue inside, bleeding from gunshot wounds. Emergency responders worked fast, transporting him to the hospital, but time wasn't on their side. At 6:14 p.m., less than an hour after the attack, Ryu was pronounced dead. For his family, Sun-hee, and their 3 kids, the world shifted. A husband, a father, a pillar of their lives was gone, taken in a senseless act of violence. A vulnerable target. Why this store? Why that night? The answers must lie in the past. Described as tucked away and far from the street, 11 Arleta Avenue wasn't exactly a fortress. It had been robbed twice before Ryu's murder, and years later, it would see another shooting, non-fatal, but a chilling reminder of its vulnerability. That history could have made it a beacon for trouble, especially for young, reckless thieves. Add in Ryu's routine, those brief lockups to drive his wife home, and it's possible the attackers saw an opportunity, timing their move when he was alone or off guard. The aftermath, a community in shock. The murder left a hole in North York. Ryu wasn't just a shopkeeper, He was a hard-working immigrant who'd poured nearly 20 years into his life in Canada. His family tried to carry on, reopening the store a month later and running it for 3 more years before finally letting it go. But the weight of his death lingered. The community mourned, and the police launched an investigation that would prove frustratingly elusive. The investigation: a cold trail. Back in 1993, solving a case like this was an uphill battle. Security cameras weren't everywhere like they are now, and DNA tech was still in its infancy. The suspects, 2 local teenage boys by all accounts, had slipped away in that bus, leaving little behind. Police canvassed the area, tracked the bus route, and appealed for witnesses, but the leads dried up. The case went cold, filed away among Toronto's unsolved mysteries. Fast forward to 2021, though, and there's a glimmer of hope. The Toronto Police Service reopened the case, armed with modern DNA advancements. They're banking on the chance that evidence from 1993 will finally point to the killers. Detective Sergeant Steve Smith from the Cold Case Squad believes the suspects were neighborhood kids, calling it a heinous murder that's haunted investigators for decades. The police put out a call to the public. If you know anything at all, pick up the phone. Call the Homicide Unit at 416-808-7400 or Crime Stoppers at 416-222-TIPS 8477. Anonymity is an option, but even the smallest tip could crack this wide open. Up next, a legacy unresolved. A legacy unresolved. As of May 2025, the murder of Sukyu Andrew Rue remains unsolved, approaching its 32nd anniversary. For Sun Hee, now 84, and the Rue's family, it's a wound that's never fully healed. This isn't just a cold case. It's a story of loss, resilience, and an ongoing fight for justice. And that's where you, the listeners, come in. Could you hold the key to solving this? Stay tuned as we dig deeper into Ontario's forgotten crimes, because the truth is still out there, waiting to be found. As we wrap up today's episode, the story of Andrew Rue stays with us. A hard-working father, quiet shopkeeper, gunned down in his own store on a cold February evening in 1993. For 32 years, his murderers remained an open wound in North York, a mystery that stole a husband and father from his family and left justice just out of reach. We walked through the heartbreak, the dead ends, and the faint hope that modern technology might finally name those 2 teenage boys who fled into the night. But this story isn't over. Not yet. Before we go, a quick reminder. If you want to keep following cases like Andrew's, please subscribe to Ontario Cold Cases, Canada's True Crime Podcast. We're available wherever you get your podcasts. Apple, Spotify, Google, you name it. So you won't miss a single episode or update. Hit that subscribe button and join us as we keep digging into the shadows of Canada's unsolved mysteries. Now here's where you can make a difference. Toronto Police Service is still chasing answers in Andrew Rue's murder, and they're counting on you. Were you in North York in 1993? Did you ride a westbound bus on Sheppard Avenue that February night? Do you remember something, anything, that might connect the dots? Even the smallest detail could be the breakthrough this case needs. Please, if you know something, reach out to the Homicide Unit at 416-808-7400. Or if you'd rather stay anonymous, call Crime Stoppers at 416-222-TIPS. That's 416-222-8477. Andrew's family has waited over 3 decades for closure. Your tip could be the one that ends that wait. Thank you for listening. This has been Jay Nickel of Nickel Investigations. Thanks for caring and for being part of this journey through Ontario's coldest cases. If you know someone who's hooked on true crime or just wants to see justice served, share this episode with them, because every share brings us closer to the truth. For Andrew Rue, for his family, for every unsolved story still out there, we're not giving up. Till next time, keep listening, keep wondering, keep the past alive, because every case deserves answers, and every victim deserves justice. Good night.